You know, we've all heard the phrase, my work husband or my work wife. Well, imagine actually if your work wife is your real wife. Well, that's the case with tonight's guests, the creators, the brains behind Wolfe Video. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, when did you decide to stop being just business people and now then married partners?
Well, Barbara, you want to answer that?
Well, we've been together 21 years.
Congratulations.
And actually, Kathy is the brains behind Wolfe Video.
Uh-huh.
And I've been in a supporting role all these years.
Right.
And I think, you know, when the decision came down that we could be legally married, we decided finally, after 21 years, we were going to do that.
Right. And how long have you been actually working together?
Well, Barbara was a school teacher for 35 years, recently retired, and she always worked with us during the summertime at film festivals and such, and now that
the benefit of being a teacher, you get your summers off, right?
That's right. It was kind of a cultural shock, because she'd go straight from teaching school to the Frameline Film Festival, and it was kind of a shock. But,
so I was doing all that work for Wolfe all these years. So when I did retire from teaching, I just moved into my current job, which is in acquisitions, which I've been doing all along, really.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I asked for a selfish reason as well, because I work with my husband as well, and people say, you know, is it tense sometimes working together? I'm like, no, it's kind of fun. Plus, we have separate offices, so, you know, it helps. But all kidding aside, I mean, you have formed a real creative unit, both in business and your personal life. And you say you've known each other for 21 years, but you just got married now a month ago. Yeah, I mean, I've been joking with friends that same-sex marriage is going to revive the economy because we all get married once or twice or 3 times. How did that feel? I mean, after 21 years, was it still emotional?
Oh, absolutely.
Hugely emotional.
Oh,
hugely emotional. Yeah.
We cried our eyes out.
Yeah,
we were in City Hall.
Yeah, we decided definitely San Francisco City Hall, the center of it all. And we had 70 of our closest friends right around us, and it was extremely emotional.
How long did it take you to have to put it together? I mean, did you plan it, or you just like said, no, the decision has come down now, Prop 8 is dead?
Yeah.
It was pretty quick.
It was very quick, you know, maybe within a month, or, yeah, I don't.
We had to take a couple of minutes to buy some rings and get a reservation at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you know, Wolfe Video is headquartered in San Jose.
Yes.
I've had other guests from the South Bay on, and they said that being out in the LGBT community is a whole different world in the South Bay from up in San Francisco. Do you think that's true?
Well, to be completely honest, David, we don't really know too much about the city life because we're located out in the country, in a very rural area called New Almaden. And, you know, our neighbors are just old-time folks. And even though many of them work in town, they really enjoy the country life. And that's one of the things we did recently is we have a event in New Almaden Day. And it's a very country event, you know, bales of hay, band, dancing, cake walk, you know, barbecue kind of fundraiser for our community center, including a parade. And Barbara and I were in the parade this year. We wore our wedding clothes. We had our friend drive us on the back of a convertible, and we drove in the parade and with a sign saying, "Just Married," and we got the most fantastic response from this neighbors that you know, they didn't know quite what the float was as we were going by. Then they saw the Just Married sign and they just went, "Oh my gosh, this is so fantastic."
Right, so we're not talking a gay pride parade. We're talking a good old-fashioned Norman Rockwell, hay bales, horses, and buggy,
totally.
And
that's
the
it.
whole thing. So I'll pose the question a different way. How is it different being a rural lesbian versus an urban lesbian?
Well, since we've lived there almost 40 years, I have, and I know almost everyone in this community. It was very nice. Our business is there. People support us in ways that we can't even imagine.
Right.
Partly because we ended up saving the local post office by changing our methods of shipping to be through the Postal Service.
So Wolfe Video is helping keep our government agency alive.
In Alma Dent it is.
You were going to say something, Barbara, about the
Oh, I
of a
just,
rural lesbian.
we don't feel any homophobia in the neighborhood. As Kathy said, the folks have lived there for 30, 40 years. We're just a part of the community, and everybody supports us. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I couldn't help giggling. At first I thought it was a typo when you first came on the set and I saw underneath your name lesbian.com. I thought it was kind of a joke, but you actually own the domain lesbian.com.
Yes, Kathy does.
Well,
I imagine you both do. It sounds like you're kind of a
Yes.
unit here. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of a big burden, owning lesbian.com. I mean, boy, if I own gay.com, I don't know what I'd do.
We actually love it. We've only had it for 16 months, and we're completely changing the face of lesbian.com from what it was, and we really are inviting the community to be an active part of it. We really want it to be an umbrella organization, since it's such an obvious URL that gets tons of traffic.
I was going to say, I mean, lesbian.com's got to be right up there.
Yes.
I mean, you were an educator for over 3 decades. Do you
Yes.
see this as kind of an extension of your education work? I mean, there's a lot of ways to teach.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Everything I learned in education has helped me to be where I am today. Absolutely, I feel really strong in the company, and like I'm making a contribution for sure.
Yeah. So what is the goal of lesbian.com?
Lesbian.com is a resource for all lesbians to network, find out about financial matters, health matters, news, events happening. It's a way for people to communicate with each other. It's growing from a survey that we did, where we asked people, what do they want to see? What do they want? What do they need? What would be helpful to them? And that's how we're starting the growth of lesbian.com. You can find out about travel. You can sign up for dating services. You can watch a movie. Wolfe Video puts all our latest movies on lesbian.com.
So there is a connection here between Wolfe Video and lesbian.com.
Absolutely.
Now, the boys, gay boys, seem to have gravitated to the internet really quick, and it wasn't, to get jobs. It seemed like the dating world, the gay dating world discovered the internet really quickly. Is this different? I mean, is there a difference? And this is kind of a big question in how lesbians approach the internet and sites like this versus gay boys. It seems like the boys go right to dating, gruff and scruffing, whatever it is now. I don't know.
I think yes, it is. It's unique, definitely, and it's
more serious.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't really know too much about what goes on at, let's say, gay.com, but I know lesbian.com is unique in many, many ways. Even for women, just a unique place to actually network and be together and share political concerns and perspectives.
Now, you've got many years under your belt with education, with finance. How do all these experiences come together now in the work you're doing with your wife at Wolfe Video? And specifically, I understand some interesting funding options that you've brought to the fore. I think it may be the world's first sort of new crowdfunding project. Tell me a little bit about that.
I'll talk about that. Well, of course, everyone's heard of Kickstarter or Indiegogo and how it can, independent creators can source crowdfunding for their completion of their ideas. Well, as business owners, we felt like this is a platform that we could actually help the community and use some of our business strategies. So I think we were the innovators of this new idea, which was for Wolfe Video, Sweet Travel, Lesbian.com, and One Good Love. These 4 companies got together. We all offered gifts and premiums to incentivize donations. We identified the Freedom to Marry organization as the nonprofit organization to be the recipient, and we all raised money for this nonprofit, and they got all the money, and we supported it through our companies.
Wow. So now this is all charity, or this was also something that made Wolfe Video and you all money as well?
No, we made no money. We did it all for the benefit of this nonprofit.
Okay, so spill. How much money did you raise for them?
We raised over $5,000.
Wow. And this is the first time something like that has been tried.
Right.
Have you had anyone come to you and say, this is kind of a good idea, I'm going to get together with some of my other businesses?
I don't know. No one's actually come to me about that, but I think it's an extremely innovative idea and shows a lot of potential for LGBT businesses to support the community in a slightly different way.
Right. Different tact here. I was raised in a family of school teachers, and you know, that's a career you don't go into to make a lot of money.
No.
You know, you go into it because you have a passion.
Yes.
Are you ever in touch with any of your former students who maybe didn't know you were a lesbian then? And you know, the conversations you have now as a former teacher, what impact do those students have on you? And are you in touch with any of them still?
I'm very much in touch with students, and specifically a group of students who are all in their 20s now, and very close to all their families. And, you know, some of them came to the realization that I was a lesbian when they were about in 7th grade, maybe. And, you know, their response at the time, this shows you kids today, you know, really? You mean my teacher is gay? That is so incredibly cool. You know, that somehow I was raised to the status of, you know, a rock star or something. And
Did you ever think that being lesbian would be cool?
Yeah,
Or a .com? I mean,
well, you know, I have to admit, I was not an out school teacher. You know, I taught elementary school kids, and, you know, it was.
Well, I mean, during the years of the Briggs Initiative
Yeah,
and stuff like
exactly.
this, being an out school teacher wasn't
Yeah.
a very safe thing to be.
No, but the you know, all the families are just incredibly you know, supportive, and I guess I really didn't officially come out until my retirement party when I said, you know, and thank you to my partner Kathy Wolfe, and everyone said, did she say partner? And of course they knew Kathy because she'd been around forever, but anyway.
You know, I mean, you know, I keep hearing you say the word partner, and I find it fascinating as a married man myself. It took me a while to say the word husband, and for me it was one day going down to the drugstore and getting Alfredo some of his sinus medicine, and they said, oh, what's the relationship to the, you know, person who has the prescription? And I said, he's my husband. And it really made me choke up because I realized I wasn't making a political statement. I was stating a fact that for our straight brothers and sisters was as easy as, you know, turning over.
Really. I had to fill out a form yesterday at the dentist office, and for the first time in my life, I checked married, and it was quite a feeling.
We've only got a few moments left, but I just wanted to ask you if you had any advice for any of the young, as a friend of mine calls them, baby dykes, coming up. You know, it's a different world coming out now than it was when you were in your teens or 20s. Any advice for people, young women who are still having a hard time? Because we don't have equality yet, and there are still a lot of places where you can't be married. Barbara, you first.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, I don't know. I see a whole new young generation of, you know, people who are not homophobic at all. I mean, I had so much of my own internalized homophobia my whole life that it was very difficult for me to be out in any setting. So I don't think I have to give that advice to any young, you know, dykes today, because everybody is sure of themselves, and they're not experiencing the same kind of homophobia that we were at one time.
Yeah. Kathy, last word for you.
Well, you know, I agree with Barbara. I don't think the younger generation needs much of advice from me. What I would like to say is it would be great if they became a little bit educated on what it took for them to be where they are today and realize what went before. And I think that would be really helpful in bringing everyone together.
Well, and certainly we can see a lot of positive images about what went before, and we'll go on in Wolfe Video, so thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So from the world of video to video games, next up our conversation with playwright Liana Maris. We're going to learn about the video game monologues. We'll be right back.